When children become adults, they think, well, this is good. Now I don't have to listen to my parents anymore. Or there are some children who think, I don't want to listen to my parents anyway. I just won't listen to my parents. I'll do what I want to do. And a parent will say, don't do this because this will happen or this might happen. And then the child does it anyway. And then the bad thing happens. And the child looks at the parent and says, well, why didn't you tell me? Or why didn't you tell me in a way that I would understand? Or why didn't you tell me in a way, why didn't you tell me what would happen? Why didn't you tell me in a way that I wouldn't do what I did, And, the parent will say, don't do this because don't do this. This is bad. Don't do this. The child does it anyway, and the child suffers. I gave an example. I told a story about my brother, and I'm not my brother's parent, of course, but it was around Easter, and there was eggs in the pan, and my brother was short enough he couldn't really see the eggs, so he started tipping the pan to see the eggs boiling in the pan. And I said, Jeff, don't do that. You might hurt yourself. And he turned and he kept looking, kept tipping the pan so he could see the eggs in the pan, and the pan fell over, and the water landed on his arm, and his arm blew up. The skin on his arm went about an inch or maybe even further away from his arm, puffed up, and the eggs were on the floor, and he was screaming, and my grandmother and my mother ran into the room to see what was happening. And he didn't want to listen to me. And it's the same thing with children, and God does the same thing. God will say, don't do this. And you say, well, I want to do that anyway. And God's a parent. He knows better. Even in my age, God knows better than I do. God knows how to direct us, so we should be seeking God. But my social worker had a dog, and she said she gave the dog a small pork bone, and the dog swallowed it. And she said apparently it punctured his intestine or his stomach, and he bled internally, and he couldn't get up a step because of the pork bone. He got tired, got sick, and he apparently bled to death. And you need to listen to people. You need to listen to parents. You need to listen to God, especially.